Today we are all about the red. As you can see, I'm wearing my red outfit today to commemorate the beautiful root chakra, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So thank you all for joining me. Today we're all going to get into the root chakras. I love talking about the root chakra because one of my favorite colors is red. So I think I showed this chart last time, but I'll bring it in for a closer view. Today we're talking about this one right here. The one that is at the base of our spine. It's the first chakra. And it's red. And the name is Muladhara. Muladhara, for those of you who are interested in knowing the official name of the chakra. So cool. So today we're going to talk about the chakra. I'll hold this up for a little bit longer so that you all can see it. Last week, we talked about all of the chakras. We went into like sort of a 101 about all the chakras, the crystals related to it, and really how this all applies to your life. So if you all have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm open and willing to answer any questions you have about any of the chakras. But right now, what I want to start doing is really going over the individual ones so that you can get a better idea of what it is, that we can go deep into it. And we can also talk about, some of the crystals. We'll get a little bit deeper into those as well. And then you all can ask any questions and, we'll get into the meaning, some of the imbalances of the chakra itself. Hey guys, in both worlds, you can see some of the imbalances in both. And then you can also see how we can go about readjusting our energies and our bodies so that you can actually work on balancing it out in your life and also in your body. So we're going to go into all of that. I'm super excited that you all are here, and I hope that you enjoy today's discussion. I also have a bunch of crystals because I'm into crystals, and it's obviously one of the ways that you can really balance your body and balance your chakras. So I did bring some of my favorites that we can use for balancing your root chakra. And I'll go into that in a few. But first, let's talk about what it is. So like I said, last week we talked about all of them. And it's 7 major chakras. Like I said, I'm a pranic healer, so there's one of my friends mentioned that there's 108. So the ones that I went into pranic healing, it wasn't all 108, but there's definitely more than just 7. 7 are just the major ones, and so that's what we're going to go into today. So let's get into what they all are. So the 7 are the crown chakra, in between your eyebrows is the ajna, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus right under your rib cage, at the base of your spine. You have your sacral chakra, and then you have your root chakra. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is your root chakra. So let's talk about it in more detail. So the word Muladhara breaks down in Sanskrit into 2 words. Mula meaning root, and Adhara, which means support or base, which makes sense because it's at the root of our bodies, right? It's at the bottom. So this is the one that's actually located at the base of your spine. I mentioned base before, but that's actually the other chakra, the sacral chakra. This one is actually at the base of your spine. And so what is the purpose of the root chakra? It's basically all about safety, security, and general prosperity in life, and also connection to your tribe, your family, that connection that you have there, which you also need for survival and support, right? So as you can see, it's not about this instinctual need to survive. These are like all survival kind of instincts that are part of your root chakra in this need to live and thrive in this 3D now reality on this planet. So the general opening and balancing of the chakra at the base, because it's the chakra all the way at the base, also balances the rest. So you can imagine how important that is. And if you think about it, in life, isn't it really important and pivotal for you to have a supported life, a supported lifestyle, right? for you to be able to survive, more than survive, thrive, right? So, but you need at least the basics, which is, food, shelter, water, all these different things, and also connection. There's been lots of studies done about, children when they're young, and if they're not touched and, there's no connection with people, like they turn into like, they don't really develop properly. They end up with socio, psychotic issues and like all these different aspects of their personalities that it's not usual, it's not normal, right? So we need this connection. We need our connection to our family. We need to, survive, have security, feel supported, and all those things. So, like I said, that includes food, water, shelter, safety, as well as emotional needs, such as, letting go of fear and anxiety. And we'll get into that in a minute. So if you have any questions about that, let me know, and I'm happy to answer any questions about the roots so far. All right, so let's talk about imbalances in the root. Because as with anything, things can go really well and sometimes things are a little bit out of whack. And interestingly, which is why I kind of started with the root, aside from the fact that it's also the one that balances all the others, right now it's a big time where, people are they're feeling very insecure. The situation that we're in right now, this pandemic that we're all experiencing worldwide, is something that's throwing us all off. And guess what chakra is affected probably the most? Your root chakra. And by the way, it also connects with your adrenals, which again, also fight or flight, right? Like that mode of like, am I going to survive? Am I going to die? Are we going to get through this alive? Are we going to get through this okay? Like all those things are part of that root chakra. So it's super important right now for us all to really work on balancing that area of our chakra system, because it supports us and it also supports the rest of our chakras. So let's talk about imbalances. So the way it shows up is at different levels, right? There's the mental, emotional, and there's the physical. Those are the two major levels, and obviously, it's all tied into our spiritual bodies because, we're obviously spiritual beings. So it's obviously going to affect that aspect of ourselves as well. Sorry, I was having some technical issues. So what happens at the mental, emotional level? So things that are noticeable when there's a root chakra imbalance are anxiety disorders, fatigue, fears, nightmares, obsession with the material world, right? Obtaining material things. And actually right now, because of what's happening in the world, I feel like people have that area very much in imbalance because it's almost like the floor has been pulled out from under us and many people are out of work and, maybe they don't even have food for their households. Like there's a lot of that stuff happening. So right now is a time where you might see that area of material things being out of balance as well. There's also anger and even finding it hard to settle down in one place. So if you've ever seen those people that kind of hop from place to place, I forgot what the word is for them, but they're basically like those people that can never stay in one place. They never have an apartment of their own. They're kind of just hopping from like friend's house to friend's house. That is likely an imbalance in the root chakra as well. So those are the mental and emotional aspects. Because remember, a lot of that is all about, again, security, being stable in this reality, having material things, needing material things, right? And also connection to others. So you're going to see on that side, which I'm going to get to a little bit later on how to balance all of that. So, but first let's talk about the physical as well. So the physical, because it's that root chakra, obviously it handles a lot of the things that are around that level or below. Remember last week I talked about how your nervous system kind of works that way too. So wherever your major nerves are coming from, they innervate that area. Same with the chakras. Wherever that chakra is located is likely to innervate or energize in this case, because it's all energy. It'll energize those areas. So the ones that it energizes that you'll find issues with are the colon, the bladder, so you'll have issues with like elimination and processing down there. Stuff with the lower back, your legs, and feet issues. And in men, you might see issues with their prostate as well. And then you may see eating disorders. That could also be a sign of an imbalance, along with some other areas as well, which we'll get into when we talk about the other chakras. But those are the major issues along those particular organs. So then you might ask yourself, like, wow, this is a pretty serious chakra. How do we get all this stuff back in balance? Great question. It's so important to do that right now. Well, there's a whole lot of ways. And I'm going to just talk about things at a high level, and then we're going to get deep into the specific tools and things that you can do. But basically, what it feels like when this chakra is in balance is that you feel safe. You feel grounded. You feel free from worries, like almost carefree, but obviously still responsible. And you're basically at peace with the world. And isn't that an amazing feeling to have, right? Just feeling at ease, at peace, and just relaxed. And like things are going okay. Like even though there's a pandemic, even though things are happening, that doesn't mean that you need to fall apart. You can actually be still in a grounded state. And there are ways to help you do that, despite what's going on in your environment. So here's 3 general things I want to talk about. The first is connecting with the earth and anchoring yourself in your environment, because the root chakra obviously at the bottom, and I always talk about like ground yourself, right? Well, grounding yourself is super important for the root chakra in particular, because that's the one obviously that you need for survival. So being grounded in the earth, grounding yourself outside, anchoring yourself in your environment, being in the present moment, and again we'll talk about ways to do that. Those are things that are super helpful, especially for the root chakra. The second one is generally disconnecting with material and reconnecting with yourself. Again, super big thing that's happening with people right now is that they're realizing that they're home a lot, and they're either by themselves or with their immediate circle of friends or family. So what's happening a lot of right now is that people are reconnecting to themselves. And maybe you are one of those people and you're discovering like, damn, I really need to change certain things about my lifestyle or about myself that I need to improve or get better at. Or maybe there are things about myself I never realized before. Connections with people that I need to, adjust or change. Maybe with your loved one that you're living with, things like that. So there's a lot of reconnection to ourselves that's actually happening right now, which actually is supporting the root chakra, because it's allowing us to reconnect to who we are, right? Before we were kind of out there, out at work, out, doing things and like never really like seeing the inside of ourselves, always just looking out. Does that make sense? So now we're kind of coming back inside and coming back internally, which is great. We love that. We want to connect inside. So the next thing is letting go of fear by grounding yourself in the now. Present moment, and trusting your inner guidance. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen some of my posts, but I've been talking about being your own guru and trusting yourself and your own intuition and inner guidance. And that honestly is one of the biggest ways that you can support letting go of fear and anxiety and nervousness and the need to move and all that stuff. Like, that's going to really help you, because once you're present in yourself, then you will develop a trust in yourself that then you can use to engage with all of the areas of your body, of your senses, of your spirit, and your energy bodies that give you information, right? Because our bodies give us information at all the different levels: physical, psychological, emotional, and energetic. And because we've been out there in the world, we really haven't looked at and paid attention to the stuff that we should be paying attention to, which is what's happening in the home front, right? So the more you can do that and you can really ground yourself and be present with yourself, the more you trust yourself and trust how you feel and what's going on with you, and what actions then you can take. And that will help guide whatever activities you need to do on the outside, which is what it's always should have been, right? Usually we're trusting people to give us information from the outside and then making a decision. This time, we need to start working from the inside and out. Does that make sense? I hope that's been helpful. Okay, so here are some ways that you can do that. And maybe you all have been practicing some of this stuff, so please feel free, to talk about ways that you've actually been doing this too. I'd love to hear some of the work that, has been helping you bring yourself to more presence and, feel good about your bodies. So again, we're talking about the root chakra. So here are some ways that you can actually rebalance your root chakra. The first one is, you guessed it, meditation, right? And being present. And, all this present stuff, it doesn't mean that you need to sit in silence for hours, right? I think people have a misconception about what having presence and meditation really means. It can mean spending time, meditating, which is really important. I really do suggest at least 15, 20 minutes of meditation in the morning or in the evening or both. But present moment is also how you live your life day to day. Being present with yourself, right? Like again, this is really important for your root chakra. Going inside, seeing how you feel about things, stopping and thinking. And look, I'm getting chills about it. This is how true it is. Being present with yourself and thinking, is this right for me? What am I doing right now? What am I feeling right now? Can I just be right now? Can I be in silence right now? And can I be present for everything that I experience in my life, whether it's being live with you all, whether it's cooking, washing the dishes, being with your children, being with your families. Can you be more present and, in your bodies and in your, your energy with everything that you do in your life? That's where the work is. That's where we need to be more of. So ways to do that is simple breath work, just conscious being, just being conscious of every moment, even for like a short period of time. Recorded meditations, for example. Beatrice says, being present is to fully inhabit our bodies. Absolutely. Fully be present and inhabit our bodies. Absolutely, 100%. Love that. Nandini says, that's been so hard being present. I hear you. But you know what? It doesn't have to happen like that overnight, right? Like this is something that you can practice little by little. Like I said, from the simplest things, just being present to cooking, being present to washing the dishes. One of the major things that is really good to be present for is when you bathe, right? Like I have a whole ritual when I take a bath. If I can't like do a bath, like sit in it, then I'll just fill up the tub and I'll put salt and I'll put Epsom salt, like I'll put pink Himalayan salt and Epsom salt because that actually draws out energy that you want to kind of get rid of and clears your body out. And then I'll just, if I take a shower or if I sit in it, I'll just be present with the, the energy of just clearing my body and taking care of myself, even if it's just 10-minute bath, right? Because those 10 minutes are you by yourself in this bath, most of the time. Unless you have a partner, that's a whole different story. But when you can take a bath all by yourself and be present with yourself, that is an amazing time to be in the present moment. All right, so if you all have any thoughts on present moment times and things that you've done, please feel free to post. I'd love to hear what you've done. So after this recording, I'm actually going to go back to my group and we're going to do a live meditation. So feel free to go to Purpose Driven Tribe on Facebook and join me for that meditation so we can energize, balance, and make our root chakra a little more manageable in our lives. All right, so the next thing is yoga. So I'm sure many of you who are watching have done yoga or have been interested in doing yoga. I mean, it's kind of the thing these days. People are really into it. A lot of it is being done online. You can do it easily, like I do a sun salutation in the mornings, actually in the evenings. And that actually helps me like kind of unwind, and it also helps, release energy from my body, and it also brings me to my center, to my peace. So doing asanas or poses, balancing the root chakra, Some of them, some of the poses that you can do are, and I looked these up, these are Sukhasana, which is a easy sitting pose, Padmasana, which is a lotus pose, and the standing poses like Tadasana, which is the mountain pose, or Vrksasana, which is the tree pose. I hope I said those right. So those are all really, really great poses that you can do that for yoga that help you balance the chakras. And there's a lot of stuff on YouTube that you can look those up for. All right. Surya Namaskar has been really good. Oh, awesome. I never heard of that one. That sounds good too. Cool. So the next thing that's important that you can do for yourself is color and sound healing. So I'm sure you all have heard of like color therapy because, you know, different colors have different vibes. And guess what? Your root chakra is red and some of the other chakras have colors as well, right? So it would beg to question, can you heal the chakra with a color? Of course you can. And you can also heal it with chanting, toning, you know, using your bowls, like all of that stuff is very helpful. You just have to look up, you know, which specific sounds and colors help to balance your chakra depending on what's going on in your life. Okay, so that's the only thing that I didn't include in here, but there's so much information out there about what you can do for it. The next thing is pranic healing. As many of you know, I'm a pranic healer, and a lot of the work I do is to help balance your chakras. That's what I do. So you can get pranic healing from a practitioner, or you can learn how to do it yourself. There's a lot of healing modalities that also assist, like Reiki, quantum touch. Like all these things pretty much help to really understand what energetic imbalances or dis-eases are happening in your body so that you can pinpoint it, bring energy in, and allow your body to then heal itself, because our body is completely regenerative and it can heal itself. We are just, you know, the assistants, basically, the healing assistants to help bring in more energy so that you can heal your own body. That's pretty much what I consider any healing modality. But pranic healing is amazing for that because we actually really do concentrate on the chakra system and just the general energies of what's happening in your body. And then last but not least, is, of course, crystals. So I did bring some of my friends. I call them my friends because every crystal is like a, you know, spiritual body in its own. It has its own energy and its own, like, you know, this way of being and interacting with us. So I call them my friends. And a few of the ones that are really awesome, which I actually covered this last week when I talked about the different chakras. The ones here are red jasper, garnet, and mookaite, which I have all three. And then I'll also talk about tourmaline. So this is garnet. It's red. So if you notice, all the ones I'm going to show you are red. This is actually a raw one, so it's unpolished. And if you want to see what it looks like polished, it looks like this. This is what garnet looks like, polished. So it's really a beautiful dark red. And this is the raw one. And then another one that's amazing for it is red jasper. So I have a bunch of small ones here. They're all really, really beautiful. They kind of remind me of the color of your liver, right? So you think it has to do with blood and like circulation. And actually the root chakra does help with circulation as well. So it does assist with that. But red is the color, right? Like this color right here, that you should look for when you're thinking of helping to heal your chakras. And then the last one, which I really love, is tourmaline. Not tourmaline, sorry. Mookaite. Mookaite is an awesome stone. And I'll tell you a little bit more about mookaite because I've been researching all of these stones over a while now. But this one in particular was pretty cool because it's considered like the stone of youth. It actually helps to you know, get rid of wrinkles. It keeps you looking young. It brings the energy in and all that stuff. And it's actually really beautiful. Like it has a lot of different tones and colors within it. It's not just, it's like a brown and red combination, but it has all these different little patterns and there's all different kinds. This one happens to be a necklace. but it's so beautiful. And then the last one that I wanted to talk about is tourmaline. This is a tourmaline log. And this one is amazing because it's a great grounding stone in general. Like, I love carrying this thing around because anytime you need to go into a situation, whether it's a meeting at work or an interaction with someone, oh my gosh, you're so funny. That's why you look so young. Actually, I haven't worn this in a while. So I think it's all the energy work that I do that keeps me young. Thank you, though. But this one is super good at grounding. Really, really good. Whenever I do energy work on anyone, I always have this one around, whether it's black tourmaline or even red tourmaline, which one of these days, one of these sessions, I'll talk about red tourmaline. So pretty. So, so pretty. Or pink tourmaline. But this one is super good at grounding your energy, and it's super heavy too. But it's an amazing stone, and it's black. So really, like, red and black are the two colors that you can concentrate on to really cleanse your chakra and bring it into balance. And there's also one more that I wrote here, which is bloodstone. Bloodstone also has hints of red and green, and sometimes they have like a little hints of other colors too. But and it's also a very good stone for your blood as well. So it's no surprise that a lot of these are red, right? It also helps with your blood. So those are all the crystals. So if you have any questions about those, do let me know. Crystals are amazing, and you all know I love talking about them as megaphones for amplification of your intention, but they're also really great at healing according to how you program the stone, right? You clean it, you program it, and then you use it for what you need it for, and then you clean it again, right? So that you can use it the following time. So definitely make sure that you use the appropriate ones to balance your roots, and bring your body back into balance. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to answer them before I run off to the meditation in the group. Like I mentioned last time, and I'll keep mentioning it until it launches, I am putting together some kits, some grids, and they're going to be around, and basically what I mean by kit is a selection of different stones, different ones that work together in conjunction to really help balance a particular issue. So whether it's health, whether you're looking for love, whether you just want grounding and peace, whether you want to put it in your kids' room to balance their energy so that they can really make most use of their mind power and really balance their energy so they can concentrate. There's going to be a kit for that. There's going to be a couple of kits. So I will talk about that more in the next coming weeks. And as always, definitely, follow me, send it off to anyone who needs this, and research. I'm a big fan of just research. Get yourself out there, look up garnet, look up red jasper, look up tourmaline, look up all these things so that you can truly dive into, the deeper meaning of these crystals and these tools, and, look up the yoga, do a couple of them, try them out. I'm a big advocate of, just trialing and erroring in your own body so that you can see what works for you. Not everything works for everyone. Not every crystal works for everyone, right? So make sure that you practice, and happy crystal hunting out there, and happy balancing of your amazing root chakra. If you have any questions, I'll keep answering here in this video, and I will see you all next week. We're going to talk about the sacral chakra. Today we talked about this one. So the next one we're going to talk about is this one, and I'll get all into that in the next session. So I appreciate you being online, and love you guys, and I'll see you next week.